Hello and welcome, Essex County College family. This is the Virtual Cafe, powered by Student Life and Activities. Today's episode, number 88, is a focus on our 360 Art Club's awesome gallery that they did in the Dasher Student Center entitled Visions in Black and White. Now, we've collected a lot of interviews with students and members of the club, and we have awesome artwork on display here in the Dasher Center and now immortalized in this video forever. So without any further ado, please enjoy the awesome artwork of our students.
It's great to see so many folks come out. Today, I'm Professor Wager. I coordinate the art, new media, technology, and communications programs here at ECC. And this event is put on by the Art 360 Student Club. So we're actually looking for our fearless leaders who are probably dealing with the food. We'll have food later on in a few minutes after we watch some of the amazing work that ECC students have created this semester. So first I just wanted to introduce kind of the professor of the hour, Professor Smith. I know he doesn't want to come up, but we're going to make him come up. Clap it up for Professor Smith. Been so instrumental in mentoring and really leading a lot of the new media technology classes, and really also helping to reinvigorate the art program here at ECC. So I always want to give props to Professor Smith for all the hard work that he does. I just wanted you to be able to say a few words, if you will, about some of your student work, and then we'll bring up our guest speaker.
Professor Wager always makes me speak. But it's really a privilege to be able to share the work that you all have created throughout the semester, despite our tugging back and forth over you guys improving your work. You all have great visions, and these walls show the visions that you have. Working with you guys is a wonderful privilege. Working with Professor Wager has been one of the most amazing experiences I've had in my life of working. Okay, I shaved for you guys today. Oh, Jonicia. All right. Well, but anyway, though, you all have really amazing visions and amazing dreams, and I want you all to continue to show the beauty of the artwork that you have, the passion that you have for design, and really take your life into the next vision. You guys are the future, and we want to just see that continue to grow. With that being said, now that the Vice President and the President of Art 360 are here, we will give them the mic and then they will introduce our guest speaker. Or maybe they won't. Oh, there you go. I think I saw it. There we go. Thank you so much.
You got a job to give me. I'm running to go catch the piece, man. So I'm hot and out of breath. But I'm really happy to see all of you here to come and support all of the art that the students put together to showcase. The 360-degree art club is fairly new. We just started this club last semester. We realized that there was no club in the student life organization that was inclusive to all types of artists. So a couple students, we got together and we got all the paperwork submitted and put in a lot of work to join this club for us, so we can showcase the talents of all the students who like to draw, who like to paint, who like to do photography, who's into new media technology. And it's been a really awesome experience. I'm really impressed with everyone's talent. I hope you guys are as well. And I appreciate you guys coming to our opening ceremony for this great semester. Our guest host, we have Matt Williams here with the nonprofit organization Newark. He's the founder. He's also a great video journalist. He's also a filmmaker, and he's also a comedian. So he may have a couple jokes for you guys. So let's give them a round of applause.
I lived here in Newark, New Jersey. I worked in Manhattan, in the East Village. And everyone, I would tell everyone, like, you should move to Newark. You know, like, we had rent back then, $650 a month, and $700 a month. And people were like, I ain't moving to Newark. You're gonna get carjacked, robbed, killed, or hurt. I don't want to move to Newark. So I began to capture images in and around Newark, New Jersey, because I think that every urban city has its issues, you know. But there were so many positive things happening in Newark, New Jersey. So one thing with history for the filmmakers, and I'm sure you know because you were in Professor Wager's class, is that film was invented in Newark, New Jersey. How many people knew that? Patent leather was invented in Newark, New Jersey. How many people knew that? Every bed in the White House was made in Newark, New Jersey, up until Donald Trump. And I'm assuming he just got his beds made somewhere else. But how many people knew that? And Newark has so much history. How many people know that Whitney Houston is from here? Yeah, that's it. How many artists are in the room? There's got to be more artists in there. How many artists? Any artists back there? Yeah, no, another hand went up, another hand. Artists. So I began to capture images around Newark as a hobby. I started a Facebook page and it got 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Someone said, hey, you should make this a nonprofit. This is a good thing that you're doing. And we were just covering positive stories. Someone would say, hey man, you want to go cover this story they shot Raheem and them? And I'm like, we don't really want to cover that. You know, let's leave that for CBS, NBC, and CNN. You know, because every time you turn the news on, it seems like it's something negative, you know, and depressing. And it's something that I was feeling real good before I saw this on the news, and now I'm depressed, feeling bad. I know I want to hurt somebody. So we started Untitled Chapter as a nonprofit. We covered his grandmother that her daughter got out of prison, and her daughter got a job offer, and no one was there to watch the person that got out of prison's kids. So grandma stepped in, and then she opened a daycare out of that. You know, we begin to cover stories about economic development. How many people know they're building a whole lot of new buildings in New York today? So we were covering economic development, education, historic sites in Newark, New Jersey, and doing some vlogging. So Jonique is one of our digital media engineers, along with another young man. His name is Charles, and Charles is open with his life. Charles will be doing a story on mothers of autistic children. And one of our, I used to call them interns, but they're not interns, they're digital media engineers. He is autistic. But you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you, you know. I would know because, you know, I can see the little quirkiness and everybody. But anyway, he has volunteered, and him and Jody is working on this beautiful story. And we're trying to get this story out by Mother's Day. So what I'm saying is that I'm just trying to share some things that I'm So Newark is doing. We also founded the Newark Short Film Awards. We're a founding committee member of the Newark International Film Festival. If you have some short films, our submissions is open right now. Our submissions are open. I know in college, don't that. Our submissions is open right now, so if you want to submit, students are free. I think. If not, it's not over $30. It's not. So from there, we did the Short Film Awards, and also some works I worked on. Some of you guys got federal student aid, free application for federal student aid. I did that commercial. I did all 2 versions of that commercial. I'm working on a project now with Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom, and her husband, Richard Lawson, who's an actor. I'm editing some videos. They have a new film, which he calls a film, coming out called Black Terror. And we're working on that. I'm doing some editing. I'm just editing. That's all. I didn't shoot any of it. We're just editing. So I'm out here. I'm doing work. I have a film out called Midlife, and also did a documentary on a well-known artist in this area named Rodney Gilbert. Started and founded an organization called Newark, which is his name spelled backwards, right? It's spelled backwards. We got awards for that film. Our midlife film, that's a feature narrative, and it's doing really well throughout the country. And those are things that I'll take the next 5 minutes to share, like, why do I do this? My parents bought, I'm telling my age now, my parents bought me a camera and projector back in 1979. I was coming out of Chancellor Avenue School, and everyone thought I was going to go to Weequahic. Some people still thought I went to Weequahic, but I actually went to this school that's no longer in existence called Irvington Tech. And I began to capture everything. It was these cats that was in the karate, Adil, Outlaw, and Turhan Bay, and I would just capture these guys doing karate. Then we would have parties on the weekend. We would project, them doing what they call katas, prearranged fighting forms up on the screen while everyone's dancing. So if you ever see like video in the dance hall, I started that. Me. So give it up. So I begin to capture images, and I just love to be able to freeze a moment. I don't want to take a photo of you guys right now. Just starting online. Freeze this moment in time. I'm always posting on Facebook, and I'm jumping all over the place. Facebook is the first time ever in the history of the world that we have people every day, and Instagram or Facebook is first, documenting things that they're doing on a daily. Now, if you want to do research today of something happened 200 years ago, you're going to have to read a book. And there's not going to be too many books you're going to be able to read about what happened. It may be 1 or 2 books, or what did people used to write? They wrote journals, right? So you have to find their journal. But Facebook is documenting every day, So the Facebook is going to know that this comedian got smacked in the face, right? And they're going to say, well, is it true? They're going to say it must be true. Because Facebook is larger than some of the biggest countries in the world. And they're going to say it has to be true because 800 million people, I want to say tweeted, Facebooked about it, right? Posted about it. So I really love that. I love capturing moments. This lady got flooded out in eastern Pennsylvania, and we went to help her, and she was crying. And I mean, the water was about 4 feet deep. Salvation Army took the emergency disaster truck. And she stopped us. She said, do not grab anything. She said, I don't care about the money. I don't care about the jewels. She was saying all the stuff she had in the house. She said, grab my photo. Get all of the photos. So I was like, wow. Because those are memories to her. So I love capturing images. I love, and it's all about positive things, but I'm so Newark. But I understand that we all struggle. Everyone has struggles. And we're not going to hit on it too much. But people talk about Will Smith. But whatever that man was going through, he was struggling. And he stepped out of the character that we normally see on a daily as Will Smith and became this person. And that's like all of us. So what do? We try not to smack anyone, but we try to get in a moment of expression. Because of our struggles. How many people are artists again? All right, we're gonna do an interactive thing. How many minutes I have?
You got time.
Okay, so we're gonna do an interactive thing, right? How many of the artists are up again?
Look, it's going to be
This is gonna be interactive. Okay. I want to hear from like 3 different people, right? Name some of the struggles that an artist goes through. We're going to start right here in the back of this young lady. Struggles that an artist goes through.
I've seen imposter syndrome. Like you said, you have to do it. Like your artwork is not good enough.
Imposter syndrome. Wow. Wow, that's what Todd, when I interviewed her, that's when she started crying. She was talking about, she was talking about herself. That's what you talking about, yourself? Wow, imposter syndrome. Someone else, struggles of an artist.
Financial problems?
Yes. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. More struggles, financial. Should artists have financial problems? You know? Think about some of the most well-known artists. Did a lot of them die rich? But did their art make millions after they died? Like, what is going on? Someone else. Let's hear from about 2 more people. Who's in the back? Artists. Yes.
Time management. Like
Time management. That's a struggle.
To the deadline.
Right. What are artists seeking most?
Finding a job is also a struggle.
Finding a job? Interesting. You know what they say artists lack most? Business skills. They say we lack business skills because we always want to create. One thing I love to have people watch my work. When I do comedy, I love to be on stage. And not saying I'm a real dope comic, I'm okay, but I'll never bomb. When they bought the pizza in, I was reminded of the time that I almost bombed. I was at Club 78. Actually, Bob Sumner was in the audience, and that's when we were kind of like connecting. But I told one joke, they laughed. I told 2 jokes, they started laughing, and then they served the chicken. And everyone started eating it. And I told another joke, and he was just like, all right, y'all, thank you very much. When I saw the food coming, I was like, I ain't going up there while they're eating. So I love to express myself, and that's the way. We have an artist here, his name is Shahid. And Shahid, can you concur with me that when you see your work up on the big screen, and when people appreciate your work, it's an awesome feeling, you know, it's a real awesome feeling to have someone even comment, even if it's criticism, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, I needed to hear that because I'm going to improve this work later on, you know, and it's not about just getting up in front of people, but I think it's the expression. And if I'm home, like during COVID, I think I was going through a sort of a depression, you know, because I wasn't getting an opportunity like I normally would to express myself. You know, so artists, that's what we do. And it's the struggle. And I don't know why I keep hitting on that, because if you feel that you need to express yourself, express yourself. You know, did you have a question? Did you? Okay, you already asked your question. Okay. Express yourself, whether it's visual art, whether it's film, whether it's photography, whether it's poetry, express yourself, you know, and write things down. Here's another thing, and I'll probably bring it to a close and open up for questions after this. If we're going to use the word, I use the word creator. If the creator lays something on your heart, you need to move on it. Because don't be mad when he gives you an idea of A, B, C, D, and you fail to do it, and then you see Matt doing it. Like, that was my idea. No, it wasn't. The idea was brought before you, and you failed to move on it. The idea was given to you, and you failed to move on it. So, and then that can bring in some depression. You know? Denzel Washington said, dreams without goals are only dreams and ultimately lead to disappointment. So we have to stay on our game. And I know there's a lot of other things, you know, I'll be at home working and busy. That's why I gotta go to Express Newark, because I can't sit home and work. Because I'm back and forth to the refrigerator. I got 2 refrigerators that's all. I'm hoping both of them, you know? I gotta go to the office and get my work in, because Netflix, everything, all of these distractions, you know, Facebook can be a distraction. But we have to stay on our game, stay on our goals. Whatever you guys are going to school for, just you gotta stay on it, you know? Because sometimes we want to just give up. Sometimes I want to give up, you know? I'm so Newark, yeah. And I'll be like, fuck this, you know? So I gotta stay at it. I gotta stay at the vision. I just can't run with the vision halfway unless I pass it off. You know, you gotta pass it off. You can be they call them serial entrepreneurs. You start one thing, get it going, pass it off. Start another thing, get it going, pass it off. You know? And then you have to give it to good people who are like-minded, have your vision in mind.
I'm the president of the 360 Degree Art Club, and my field of passion would be photography and digital media.
My name is Mustafa. I'm part of the art club and the gaming and anime club. And my favorite medium to work with is paper and just pencil.
My name is Shawn, and I don't belong to any club on campus. But my favorite way to make art has to be like on the laptop. Actually, it has to do with design. Like that's my favorite way of making art.
My name is Garcia, and I have been in the Game and Anime Club. And in general, I don't really have a favorite media to work on because I'm sort of a beginner trying out different things. I'm still not used to anything in particular. So my name is Angel Ortega. I am in two clubs, which is the Drama Club and the LGBTQ+ Club. And my favorite media of art is drawing and sketching. If I could fascinating, just pencil on paper rather than pen on paper and painting on paper.
My name is Barry Monoman. People call me Barry. Some of the stuff. I'm sort of in drama club, I would say. Lack of commitment, but I still represent. And also, sort of in the gaming club as well. That's also fun. They're all interactive as well. My favorite medium of art to work on is photography, specifically like modeling, fashion photography is my favorite. I love fashion photography. It's awesome. I love fashion as well. But, I also love video editing. It's really nice. I video edit a lot. I started off with Fortnite montages. It's a little awkward, but that's what I started off with. Used it to learn. Still working on learning and still trying to get better.
My name is Dan Andrews. I'm currently not in any clubs, and my favorite medium is traditional drawing.
My art, though, I have multiple kind of, mostly painting or charcoal, really, though, pretty much.
My name is Janelle Walters. I am currently taking both Art 103 and 104, and my favorite art medium would be painting. I mostly work with acrylic paint. I like it because it dries fast. You can work quicker with acrylic paint.
My name is Jonathan Baskerville. I'm a student at Essex County College, and my major is liberal arts communication.
Hello, my name is Julian Armstrong, and I'm not affiliated with clubs. And my favorite mediums I like to mess with computers around a lot. So I like to edit videos and all that, Photoshop. I even like how to do artwork on tablets and all that. So That's what I like. And also web design, because I already work on a website for the class I'm in currently right now, in media technology. So, and even then, I'm doing that major because I'm just interested all around. You know, I just like being on the computer.
My name is Kasim. I'm not buying no clothes at all. And media would be like either sketching or digital art, really.
My name is Leandra Tello. I'm in the Art 360 Club. My favorite art medium would probably be like regular ballpoint pen drawings.
Hello, my name is Jocelyn Matuena. What I like to work on the most is cameras because I would like to be a photographer in the future. That's my thing to do.
My name is Alexis McLaughlin. I like to do three hobbies that I love doing is cartoon animation, making music, and filming for my YouTube channel.
Hi, my name is Rita Sajad, and I'm in the Art 360 Club, and I like using acrylics, but I'm also interested in pencil sketches.
My name is Sequoia Branch, and I'm part of any art club, and I really like to do sketching graphic design, like making dresses and stuff. That's what I'm good at.
My name is Seth Brown. I am a part of the Essex County Art Club, ECC Art Club 360. I try to dive into every aspect because art isn't generally just one thing. So I try to do it all. I do sketching, drawing, painting. I'm learning in one of my classes right now, like color paper art, and honestly that is very challenging because I'm terrible at cutting, but I'm still learning, so I'm trying to delve into anything. I can do digital art. Yeah, I'm teaching myself how to do 3D. It's a lot.
Some of my challenges would be getting over my own frustrations. I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes when things aren't coming out or coming together the way I anticipated, I can get discouraged or frustrated, need a minute, take a woosah, come back to it. So I would say that's my biggest hang-up as an artist.
I'd say it's my own shortcomings when it comes to art. Because sometimes I do a piece, right, and I spend hours on it, but at some point I just don't like it. And just like that, I'm no longer interested in it, you know? I just stop working on it entirely. Just because one detail felt off to me. I'm a perfectionist, much like Junique here, and that's, I think, the biggest problem I have with my art. Just that being afraid of failure, you know, being afraid of something being just a millimeter off.
Bringing my idea to life. Because I'm the type of person that thinks about different things. I could just step out there right now, just think, how about let me draw a small boy on a train or jumping on a train. I know I have to do that, but bringing it to life is my problem for the most part.
Actually getting started. I tend to overthink and get too worried for a bit, but then when I actually start, it goes much more smoothly. Well, one thing for me, I have to make everything look perfect. If a line isn't as straight as it could be, or if a line is crooked with a corner to another line, I would get upset, erase, and try it over again. That's one thing that I do. Or there's times where I do draw something and I feel like it doesn't go with the thing that I'm drawing for, but I end up creating something different from what my main idea was to do in the first place.
I don't usually get artist block, maybe a little bit at the start when you're starting your project, but and then you proceed, you go on with the flow, and then when you start to get more ideas, the more you work. The only big challenge is when you're working for people and you want to please people, their comments may be not what you expect or what you want, but you have to take that as criticism, constructive criticism, and not something as a hateful comment or something like that. So you just I guess that's the biggest challenge, trying to please everybody. You won't be able to please everybody. So just being able to understand that, it takes time, but that's the biggest challenge to sort of overcome when you have art you have to work on.
I'd say with me, sometimes I feel like I try too hard when it comes to when I'm getting reference for a certain piece that I'm doing, that I try to draw it exactly like the reference. And sometimes just getting artist block, like I never know what to draw, or I have the idea for drawing it, but it never turns out how I want it when I actually draw it.
Well, I'll say the biggest challenge is probably like starting off, like trying to see how it is and all that, the structure and all that, and making sure it's not too over designed or too under designed. You want that right balance if it's accessible and all that. So
Ideas really, or like the original designs, because it's so hard to be on design because you don't want to make sure it doesn't relate to somebody else's artwork, so you want to be so original. It's so hard to do that.
The challenge is that they were both very different. For Art 103, it was kind of like slowly in the beginning of opening your mind into different elements of art. And then with Art 104, it's like you got to open your mind even more and go far and beyond. So I think that was the challenge for me to like fully just not take the art thesis so seriously, and just create whatever comes to my mind and make it look very nice and beautiful.
Not being able to like think of ideas on the spot, if that makes sense. Like it's like writer's block almost, but for artists. So basically, I can't think of a picture out of my mind and just draw it that way. I have to see it basically to draw it. And I'm trying to teach myself how to basically like overcome that, like to that's one of my biggest challenges.
I definitely turn to music. There's a vibe, a sound for any mood, for anything that you're going through, anything you need to get on your mind. So sometimes I just need to find the genre that fits my mood to help with the blockage, get me where I need to be.
I would say my sister. She was the one who usually pushes me, especially for my artwork. She pushes me. She says that's beautiful, it's creative, and you can do something. Just don't give up on yourself. Just keep going. And I find it inspiring just hearing those words from somebody that's really close to me.
My biggest inspiration, I'll always say this, always say this, has to be Cole Bennett. Cole Bennett is just like a normal person like me. Started off just recording music videos with his phone and his camera, and made it big as a director, prior college experience and stuff like that. So he worked hard, worked his way. He also gave me inspiration to try and start my own sort of lyrical lemonade thingy around my city. And trying to look for artists to help them with music videos, help them with exposure, and also get my name out there. There's some good talent, good music as well. So that's good. My family also gave me motivation. It sounds very cliche, but it's just being able to know that what you're working on can have an impact on other people, and help you support it. Your family encourages you. It's nice. It's a good feeling to have. That's pretty much it. But Cole Bennett is my main inspiration. Is what I think of. I also use work as inspiration. Try and see what he's doing, and try and emulate it as much as possible.
So what actually inspired me to write my script is a TV show called Power. So my script is about a teenager who watches himself grow up from a kid, and the negative influences around him that change him. And he's trying to overpower himself out of poverty and try to make something out of himself. And he just can't, because all the negative influence around him eventually changes him and changes his life forever. So that's what my script is about. See, I'm a big fan of the Rocky movies, and I was a big fan of the Creed, and I'm a huge Spike Lee fan. I love Brooklyn, I love Do the Right Thing, I love Mobiles with Denzel Washington, so I love a lot of his films. So Spike Lee's the reason why I wanted to become a filmmaker.
Parents, of course, nothing better than having your own family, like, help you out, friends encouraging you and all that. Or even like you said, music, I'm a really old school, like I listen to like Tupac and all that, Eric and Rakim, that just helps me out, through the day. And even like the professor had me in synology, he helps me out, he encourages. So.
Honestly, I turn to life. I take a break. I actually like looking at the stars. I look at a lot of things. Everything is art, so I work a lot too. So I work at ShopRite in Bloomfield, so I'm usually there, and I interact with like a lot of people that come in and out. It's just basically like you just need a break, basically. I think that's for everybody, not just artists. I have like a couple of friends that rap in like music industries too, and they have like writer's block all the time. So basically, like, we give each other advice mostly on like what we want for our future. Like, he'll let me know certain things, and I ask him if I need help with something. He'll try his best to give advice on what he knows about it, and I'll give my advice on what. Basically, it's just inspiration comes from anyone, like, in a sense, to me.
My favorite cartoon is Mickey Mouse because I'm the biggest fan of Disney. And I love Disney. I like to watch one of my favorite Disney cartoon characters.
My best friend or myself, really. Because she's the one who got me into art, really. Because I think I told you this before, but like my older cousin did art. I was doing it too, but I wasn't really interested, I guess, because I wasn't really into it. I guess it would be somebody else's like inspiration outside of my family to get into it. So that's what.
That's kind of hard. I mean, I've never particularly found a specific artist in mind. I mean, it would just be people in my life, like my mom, brother, boyfriend, because they all like support my artistic endeavors.
I would say, and because I used to watch that show when I was young, whenever I watched that on TV, I would just laugh like crazy because how loony they are. And I also like how the person who drew the characters, he drew it on his own way. It's not like some type of animated show where it has to be me. It's an animated show where majority of the characters' outlines are just squiggly. Yeah, that's my favorite show to watch, and I like their artwork.
I've always loved art. That's like the strongest thing that I like to do because that's what shows how I'm feeling, my emotions and stuff. That's the only way I can take out my emotions on. There is nothing specific that inspires me, but when I like painting mostly the sky. That's the most beautiful thing to me.
What I would say to any future students who's coming into ECC, especially under the field of communication, is not to get discouraged and to have faith in your artistry because you are your worst critic. So even though you're hard on yourself, you will be amazed at the response you get from people when they see your work. So don't be so hard on yourself. Go for it.
Art is almost undefinable at this point in our society, right? And so for them to be too critical of themselves, like it's good to have standards, right? It's good to have aspirations and points that you want to get to at some like intervals, But it's always better to get there slowly than to not get there at all. So you gotta keep going at it. That's just art. I was talking to a friend today. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I can play the piano. I just don't have the hands for it. Well, he said, you get the hands. You don't start with the hands. You get the hands for it. And that's art in a nutshell, really. A lot of people are always afraid to get to art because they see themselves as talentless. But art isn't about talent, it's about practice. Much like anything else in the world, really.
I would just say be true to yourself. If you think it's good, just do it, no matter what. Like, what someone don't like, another person will appreciate it, definitely. So just be true to yourself.
Thank you.
Well, we come here to learn. I have really liked art in general for a long time, but I haven't really focused on it for years. During high school, I thought I was probably going to end up learning and doing something else. But when I came here, I decided that I might as well go to art, something I know I like, than try out testing something that I'm unsure of already.
I say just try it because honestly, I made friends in my class that I would know if I didn't try an art class or just try something new. Just draw something that you feel like you want to draw and just go with the flow because at the end of the day, it's you, it's what you do, and you can fix it with just a little grace, but don't fix a mistake. They're there for you.
Honestly, I'm young myself, so I'm not gonna sound like an old head. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm sorry, but just honestly, just go for it. It's not like the worst that happens is someone criticizes you and you learn from it. It is very challenging to understand what you're doing. I still don't. You know, sometimes I wonder, do I really want to do college? But if you just fight through it, you know, just push and understand that there's a reason why you're doing this, regardless of whatever you do in the future. Even if you just pursue it, you never know what might come from it. There's various avenues you could go through with just, you know, creating your art. There's like directing, there's like editing, there's like many different things. There's technical work as well. People who work on the equipment itself. So just think of your motivation and think of your passion. Like, make sure you know or like understand that maybe this is what you want to do. And even if it's not what you want to do, you're still young. You're like what? You're like 18 years old, 19, maybe 20. You know, like you're not in your 30s yet, where you have to forcefully decide. Even in your 30s, you know, it's never too late to, you know, switch and just find your passion. So even if you're doing it now and you realize, oh, this is not for me, then at least you have that experience and understand that, you know, this is something you should, you know, you learn from, and this is something you gain an experience from and can help you in other avenues of life, you know. So just enjoy. That's all I have to say. Just enjoy the experience at the moment, because a lot of people wish they had this opportunity. So just think about that as well. Thank you.
Just try and don't be discouraged, and don't let other people think that, you know, what you might want to do is a waste of time, or if those students want to pursue a career in art, right, don't let those people kind of drag you down and say, oh, you're not going to make any money from this. But even though there are multiple companies that are making money off of it. But yeah, just try to, you know, take the leap, as some would say.
To not worry though about being a perfectionist, pretty much though. Try not to stress over it though. Try not to like compare yourself though to like other people though that have more excellent artwork or more tech or more class or whatever.
The most important thing is whether or not you truly enjoy doing, like you truly enjoy making art, because at the end of the day, you can do something that you don't like and you'll end up coming back to art regardless. You might be afraid to join, but later on you realize like, wait, I really enjoy doing art, so I'm just gonna go for it, because we live in a society where artists are kind of looked down upon or not taken seriously, so that's probably why it's so hard to join an art club or anything art related. But what's going to drive you is your passion, what you love to do is going to outweigh all the obstacles, in my opinion.
Being a high school senior, I didn't know where I wanted to go, and I chose ECC because my siblings and everyone went to ECC, and ECC has a really good staff that really motivates their students and try the best to accommodate their students. So I really feel like this was a really great school and a great choice for me. And as the media and film direction route, for students that want to aspire to come here, it's really good because you have teachers like Professor Smith, who really tries their best to make sure that their students get everything that they need to and the tools for them to be able to succeed. So coming here will really help you guys and help you find the future path that you're trying to reach for and aspire to.
Push through. It's gonna be hard sometimes, like you just might feel uninspired, but always try to look around at life, anything. It could be somebody tripping over on the street, like, I can do this, something like that, something silly like that. Or you know what I'm saying? Like even then, it's kind of sad to say, like, we have losses in your family and all that, sometimes that might give you the drive, like, you know what, maybe she's looking at me right now, you know what I'm saying? How would she feel if I'm successful at doing this and all that? Stuff like that.
I would say if you really want to get into art, I would say don't try to stretch yourself too bad about it, because you will burn out or lose motivation of it. Because I had to do it a few times, get stressed a lot, and just try your best.
I would say just try. It's always the best option. Everyone can do art. It's what you view your art as. I mean, coming here, I got to see another set of completely different artists than I did previously, and everyone is amazing, just in such different ways. Practice always helps. I mean, everyone says that, but you go a couple months without drawing and it's never the same, so you gotta keep doing it. Yeah.
I think they should take art classes because it gives you an idea of what kind of medium it is that you're using and how you can combine stuff. I took 3 art classes here already, and all of them one was painting, one was basic art. You can do any kind of art in that. It doesn't have to be just painting, sketching. It can be creative in any way. And I think what you feel is a lot important when it comes to art. You cannot just come out and start doing it. You have to be inspired by it. Yeah.
Have patience within yourself and be able to just learn anything from anyone. Doesn't necessarily have to be from a teacher, it could be from a fellow student, because all the classmates that I have just, their art pieces are just so good, and I want to learn from them too. And don't be so hard on yourself, because as an artist, I'm always hard on myself, looking at other art pieces and thinking mine isn't good enough, but it is. Every art piece is different, and it's what's meaningful to you. So that's what.
Well, I would say generally your work is your best work. So anybody critiquing it is basically they're just giving their opinion. So I would just say keep going. Don't stop, and if you feel discouraged, don't let that stop you from doing something you love. So basically, yeah, I would just say keep going. Don't really pay attention to other people's output, because you're still trying to make yourself better. You're still working on yourself.
This video is about how autism act like this, they're feeling nervous, they're scared, they're having trouble speaking. And what was that video about? Is about me as a cartoon walks towards him, and then talk for a little bit about autism. It's about how nervous they feel when they're on autism. They're having trouble communicating with people. Is because some of those people are just ignoring them, and it's not. And I don't agree with these people ignoring them, because that might be disrespectful. This is the video that I made and draw. I like drawing. This is very fun. Drawing each frame by frame, lip syncing it, and putting them together. After that, all these scenes that I have drawn each key frame by frame will be exported, and I will add the video files through the Premiere Pro.
Ever since I started in college, the problem was I struggled with my work assignments. I raised my hand and had the professor respond. They didn't respond to me back. They're busy talking with their students during art class. When I was outside with Grandma, I tried my best just to talk to older people, the one they were chilling in the parking lot. I tried talking to Sonia as well, but she was talking too much with other people. Excuse me, sir. I need fist bumps. Yo! Yo! What, Grandma?
Relax yourself. You hear me?
Yes, Grandma. And now, since I'm still autistic, I went ahead to the dining hall to communicate with Jocelyn. Hey, Jocelyn.
Hey, Alexis. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing much. I got something I want to tell you.
Go ahead. Tell me anything.
As an autism, I try my best to talk to people so I can learn how to communicate with people. But they kept ignoring me. I don't know why.
Probably they're ignoring you because people have anger issues and they can't take action for themselves. And people are rude and disrespectful.
Oh, that's why they're ignoring me.
Yeah. So you might want to be careful when you talk to people your age. They go crazy and they go nuts. I want you to keep that in mind. If they're mean to you, ignore them or walk away.
Wow, Jocelyn, that sounds easy. All I have to do is follow simple instructions, the one that you just said to me. Walk out or ignore them. That's easy. Yeah, I'll do that.
You can do that anytime. It's your decision.
Okie dokie. I'll give it a try. By the way, thank you for your advice.
You're welcome. Anytime now. You know, I would say just be patient with the student that's autism because they may find some assignments too difficult for them to do. You know, like it's best to be patient with them so that like they won't have to be scared to ask somebody for help because like there's a lot of instances where people don't have any patience with another person whenever they ask for help. Like that's happened to me a couple of times back in second grade where I had this one teacher aide that would yell at me every time that I get a couple answers wrong. Mm-hmm. And that it makes me sad. And plus, because of that, I rarely ask people to help. But nowadays, I do ask people for help, the ones that I can rely on. The ones that don't have any patience, I don't rely on them because they don't have the time to help me.
What's the one word? Because I don't want to just say that, you know, Professor Drip cares about his students. Because he does, but he cares on a whole nother level. It's like he sees his students. He sees the potential that's inside of you and he pulls it out. And he will keep messing with you. He will stay on top of you until you reach your potential. What's the word for that? I don't know. I can't. It's Professor Drake. He's Drake. One word. It's Drake.
Motivation, because like he'll like encourage you, like, you know what I'm saying, keep doing what you're doing. He'll help fix you on the right path and realize what you're doing. You know what I'm saying, he'll encourage you, like keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying, because you go far and all that. So that's why I was describing Professor Smith in one word.
Okay, I'll use the word adaptable, right? Because maybe that's not the right word to use, but the meaning behind it is he understands, you know, students. He's very calm, very patient, very also hardworking. You know, he adapts to the situation and makes sure it's easier for you to learn and stuff. So I just say adaptable. He's quite funny. Don't tell him I said that. He's gassing himself up now. But he's on a scale of like a 10, he's like a 7 funny. You know, that's good. 10 is like Chris Rock, so you can't call him Chris Rock. I don't know. But you know, I just say that's where he is. You know, he's a quite funny guy. Very, very, very inspirational as well. You know, nice fashion. You know, so I'll say adaptable. He adapts with the times. Maybe you old head shit. You know, try and be like him as well. You know, that's a good man to look up to.
He's the best professor in the world. If anybody wants to take his class, Professor Smith.
He is great. He's like one of the best professors I have, honestly. All the art professors are great, but I enjoyed him because he pushed me more. You know, I love teachers that push me far beyond what you let me. Because I like to stay in the safe zone, but with art, you can't stay in the safe zone. You gotta expand more to become a really good artist.
Drippy. That's all I gotta say.
Hello, my name is Shawn Smith, and I teach NMT and art here at Essex County College. This semester at our art exhibition, which is Visions in Black and White, we actually had one of our alumni students come back and share some of her work that she's been doing on Broadway with us, which is a part of the exhibition that you see outside. This is Nakeia Taylor. Nakeia, welcome back to ECC.
Thank you. It feels surreal being back. It's a little odd being on the other side, especially since I didn't graduate in person. So being back here for the first time since post-pandemic is a bit strange.
Yeah, you had that PowerPoint graduation.
Yeah, it was fun. The slideshow graduated.
Well, anyway, we want to talk to you a little bit about the art that you shared with us. I mean, it was some beautiful photography. I gave it the title Shots Behind Broadway because I just couldn't find them. I thought that just represented your work so well. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, overall, I didn't think the exhibit would be as big as it was. So to see my name on the marquee, I kind of was like, what? It was a weird feeling of this hard work is paying off. So I've been with the company, is it safe to say the name? A company, the media management company that handles a lot of Broadway clientele, especially social media, marketing and campaigning for them. And this particular set was for Funny Girl, which came out like 58 years ago. They reintroduced it with like Beanie Feldstein and like Ramin Karimloo and Jane Lynch and Jerry Grimes. People from different avenues. I know Beanie was an American Crime Story. Jane Lynch we know from Glee. Ramin was just from Les Miserables and The Phantom. And Jerry Grimes was on the Netflix show Manifest. So I got to be behind the scenes on set photographer during the promotional campaign for them. And usually I've been in film a lot, shooting a lot of opening nights and curtain calls for these shows. So this was the first time I really got to flex my photography hand, which is actually my first love. So the company actually really loved them, and I didn't get a chance to show some of the talent, but the next shoot I get with the talent, I'm like, hey, put this on your socials. I shot this. So I'm waiting for that moment to meet the stars again. And it's just a surreal experience, not knowing, starting out at Essex, you don't know where you're gonna go. And it's like, oh, I'm a student, will this work out? When you just do what you love and walk in your path, and the doors open up, the floodgates open up. So that's where I'm now, and I'm excited to see, because I haven't even graduated Rutgers yet, so.
But you're close to it. It's like next month.
Yeah, but still not there. So if I'm doing this as a student, what's next? So I'm excited about that. And it's all from having professors like Smith, between screenwriting, between Cinema 101, Cinema 103. It's like, I wish I could put you in my pocket and take you in all my classes.
I actually want to be in your pocket because you have all the good connections. But seriously though, just tell me, how does it feel that, in leaving Essex County College, the growth that you've seen over the past 2 years? Because I mean, when you were here, you had the skill, but you weren't sharing with the world. How does it feel to have that growth in your portfolio now?
It feels amazing. I've had it, but I wasn't sure about it. Now that I hate to say it's this outside validation, but it actually fueled me like, hey, I do got this thing. I do know what I'm talking about. I can make it. So it just fueled me. And the people I've met, I'm trying to reach out to the people, my classmates, saying, hey, I know these people in this industry. You want to be a production assistant? Here. They need graphic designers. Here. I'm patching people in that I really believe in and I've seen work hard like I did. Because I know as an art student, it's not always easy. It's not like the nursing programs. It's not like the STEM programs. Like art students really is the Hunger Games for us. So I'm trying to reach out and just plug them in. It's no fun if you're sharing all the wealth for yourself. It's no fun. And I can say that is one of my biggest rewards, is knowing that I helped a few people start their career and start their path.
Yeah, because many times STEAM does become STEAM, but we just disappear.
Yeah, it's
because
STEM.
everybody STEMs but forgets to STEAM. But it's wonderful to see that that you're actually taking STEAM and taking it to the next level. Don't worry, I'll send you some more students because I have a flood of, as you see, talented students. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, I have a flood of talented students. So tell me, what would you encourage students to do that are like, undecisive, kind of scared, don't know what to do to take the next step?
Try a little with everything and don't be afraid to say no. Saying no or shutting yourself out to an option of what could be is your biggest killer. If you try it and it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least you've tried that. Don't shut out an opportunity that may just open a floodgate of experiences. Or if you're stuck in not knowing which avenue you want to be in art and film, there are many behind the line and above the line positions. Like, I just got a chance to meet with a production designer, and I didn't realize how intense her role was and how she's like the cinematographer of set design and of getting that thing. It's like, wow, you can really make your own. You just have to find which nook you're good at. So say yes to everything. That's the motto I've been at since graduating, saying yes to every opportunity that came along, and it paid off.
One more question. What advice would you give professors who are trying to encourage you guys to grow? Because sometimes we forget to nurture you as well. So what advice would you give us that has helped you to grow with the various professors that you've had experience with, both here and at work?
I mean, the professors I've gravitated the most to have been the ones who just don't teach. They just speak from experience and wisdom. It's not on the book, it's not paper. Professors like you, professors like Alvarez, who I've gotten the fortunate pleasure of dealing with him in Essex and Rutgers, it's just, you just speak from the heart, you speak from knowledge, you know what works already. So you throw away the books and you just incorporate life, wisdom, knowledge, and just a sense of being realistic and just common house rules of like, show up on time, learn how to wrap cables, like things like this in the industry. This is what matters. Show up. Be pleasant, make yourself flexible, and be accommodating. I've learned that. Those are the fundamentals that I've learned from like just solid professors like you and Alvarez, and who else was really great, from Professor Robert Austin. He was an English professor, and don't take any mess. You can be kind, but don't be a pushover. That's another thing. Those key fundamentals will take you anywhere in any industry, I believe. It's not limited to art, but I think that's it.
True. It's the everyday principles of life that take you further than just reading a book or knowing a book. And that's what we try to encourage. And so seeing it come out of you, Nakeia, has been so wonderful. I would just like to ask you one more question. Yes, one more question, because this is for a lot of our females who are mothers and who are trying to raise their children and who are also in education. What advice would you give to them?
It does take a village. Because I come from a background of doing payroll, human resources, and bookkeeping, and I quit with 12 years under my belt because it killed me every day going to work. Like a little bit of my soul was dying. It's going to take a lot, but it can be done. And you need a village. It takes a village to get these things done. I had a strong family, a lot of siblings, and they all were able to pitch in and help to make sure I got to this point. But find your tribe. It could be your friends. It could be your neighbors that you really trust. But you can do it. You just have to want it bad enough. And it's not going to be easy. And my girls tell me every day, I should have done this before they were born. And so I had to bribe them and take them shopping yesterday. I spent a lot of money on them just as hush money. But, you got to give a little to get a lot. And it's just to secure their foundation. Now when I get up and go to work, I actually enjoy what I'm doing rather than like, and get that achy feeling. Now I was like, ooh, what am I filming today? What am I shooting today? So it's a sense of excitement. So you just throw caution to the wind, but be slightly strategic, but just know that if you're walking in the path of what you want to do, it's going to happen. And those obstacles are on purpose because they want to see if you're serious about it. That's the universe seeing what level of seriousness and commitment you have to it. But it can be done. Single moms, it can be done. I've watched my children grow up for the past 4 years with me in school. And I'll say it made me sharper in school and helping them with their homework. It really made me sharper. Like, oh, I just did this. Okay, let's do some of these equations. So it really helped. Really did help.
Great. Thank you so much for coming to see us, Nakeia. It was so great to have you. I look forward to having you come speak as a guest speaker in my class as you grow in your career. And I'll be reaching out to you for some of those people to give some guest lectures in my class. Thank you so much. Have a great one.
All right, thank you for checking out this episode of Virtual Cafe. We highly praise all of our students from our 360 Art Club and the awesome work they did all around for the Visions in Black and White Gallery here at the Dasher Student Center. We hope that you and your families are doing well during this time. Stay well, stay warm, stay cool, stay safe, and we will catch you next time. Until then, take care.